Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a question that I think pretty much everyone has screamed at their television at some point.
Oh, yeah.
It's that big Q about American politics.
Mhm.
Is Congress just a talking shop?
Mm-hmm.
You know the feeling. You turn on the news, and it's just noise.
Yeah.
Speeches, grandstanding, finger-pointing. But does anything actually happen?
It is the eternal frustration, isn't it? We see all the arguing, we see the gridlock, and we just assume the machine is broken.
Right.
But what if I told you that the gridlock isn't a malfunction? What if the talking, the delay, is actually the system working exactly as it was designed to?
See, now that is a bold claim, because to the average person, it looks like a total dumpster fire.
It really does.
But the materials we're looking at today, this deep structural analysis of the House and Senate, it suggests that maybe we're looking at it all wrong.
Yeah.
That we need to stop thinking of Congress as one big blob and realize it's actually two completely different animals sharing the same zoo.
Exactly. The founders didn't build one legislative body, they built two.
Right.
And they gave them completely different personalities, different rules, and frankly, different missions.
It's like putting a speedboat and a supertanker in the same channel and asking them to race.
Yeah, and then wondering why one is fast and the other one is slow. They handled differently for a reason.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to peel back the layers of the House of Representatives versus the Senate. And let's start with the chaos engine. The House, the analysis calls it the populist body.
Populous is the polite word. I think unwieldy is probably the practical word. You've got 435 voting members.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number, and because it's so huge, the dynamics are fascinatingly brutal.
Right, 435 people. I mean, if you put 435 people in a room and told them to order pizza, you'd starve before you agreed on toppings.
You'd never eat.
So how do they actually pass laws?
Well, they pass laws by essentially crushing the minority opinion. And this is the first big aha moment from our research. Because the House is so large, it requires extremely strict rules just to function. You can't have, like, a casual debate with that many people. So the rules are rigged heavily in favor of the majority party.
So winning the majority in the House isn't just about having more votes. It's about controlling the entire reality of the chamber.
Completely. If you're the Speaker of the House or you're part of the majority leadership, you set the agenda. You decide what bills come to the floor. You control the committees. You control the clock.
It's a majoritarian machine.
It is. It's designed to process the will of the people as efficiently as possible.
Which sounds great if your guy won. But what if you're in the minority? The analysis used a pretty harsh phrase for that experience.
Perpetual impotence.
Ouch.
It's harsh, but it's structurally accurate. If you are a minority member in the House, you have almost no leverage. You can't filibuster. You can't really slow things down. You are essentially there to cast a vote that you know you're going to lose.
But wait, is it always that black and white? We hear about factions all the time.
Yeah.
Surely the majority isn't a monolith.
No, that's the nuance. And that's where things get messy. The majority is only powerful if it stays united. The text points to groups like the Blue Dog Democrats.
Right, the swing voters.
The swing voters, fiscally conservative, socially liberal members. In a really tight House where the majority only has, say, a 3 or 4 seat lead, a small group of rebels suddenly becomes the most powerful group in the building.
So if they defect.
If they defect, the majority loses its majoritarian power.
And the minority party's only real hope is to court these defectors.
Exactly. They have to find common ground on, specific issues like tax policy or defense spending to peel off enough votes to win. Otherwise, they're just watching the steamroller go by.
Let's talk about the members themselves. The House terms are only 2 years. That seems incredibly short.
Oh, it's frantic.
Basically, the day you get elected, you're already running for re-election, aren't you?
You never stop running, and that drives the behavior we see. The House was designed to be hyper-responsive to the public mood. If the people are angry, the House is angry.
And this leads to what the analysis calls operational challenges, specifically committee bloat.
Yeah, I laughed at this part too.
It mentioned committees like transportation and infrastructure having these absolute mobs of members.
60, 70 members on one committee. It's an absurd number from a management perspective. But think about the incentives. You have 2 years to prove to your voters that you matter. You need to bring home the bacon.
You need a bridge, a highway, a military base kept open.
Right. So everyone piles onto the committees that hand out money.
It's all about local interests.
Precisely. It's parochial. Representative X from Ohio doesn't necessarily care about national foreign policy. They care about the highway interchange in their district because that gets them reelected.
Speaking of money, we have to talk about the House's biggest weapon, the power of the purse. It sounds like a bureaucratic term, but this is the nuclear option, isn't it?
It is the ultimate check. Article 1, Section 7. All bills for raising revenue must originate in the House.
Must originate there.
The president can command the army, the Senate can ratify treaties, but nobody can buy a single bullet or pay a single diplomat unless the House writes the check first.
So when we see government shutdowns or these huge battles over the debt ceiling, that's the House flexing this specific muscle.
That's the House realizing that while they might not have the prestige of the Senate, they hold the credit card. And if they cut off the line of credit, the entire federal government grinds to a halt. It's their way of forcing everyone else to listen.
Okay, so that's the House. It's a mosh pit, it's fast, it's frantic, it's obsessed with the next election, and it controls the money.
Yep.
Now let's cross the rotunda to the Senate. The mood just changes instantly.
The temperature drops about 20 degrees. You go from 435 people screaming to 100 people whispering.
Right.
The Senate is designed to be the elite brake pedal.
The brake pedal, I love that imagery.
The founders were terrified of mob rule. They worried that a populist House would just pass crazy laws based on whatever the passion of the week was.
So they created the Senate to core things down.
Exactly. 6-year terms, only 2 per state.
Which means a senator from Wyoming has the exact same voting power as a senator from California, despite the massive population difference.
Which is a feature, not a bug, in the design. It represents the states as sovereign entities, not just population mass. But the real defining characteristic of the Senate, and this is what drives people crazy, is the power of one.
In the House, you're a cog in the machine. In the Senate, you're a king.
You're a baron with your own fiefdom. The Senate rules are built on something called unanimous consent. Essentially, things move fast only if everyone agrees. If one single senator says no, everything stops.
This brings us to the filibuster. Now, I feel like we get the Hollywood version of this.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington standing until you collapse.
Yeah, the talking filibuster.
But that's not really how it works anymore, is it?
Not usually. The talking filibuster is rare. Today, it's all about the threat. It's about the math of cloture.
Okay, break that down for us. Cloture.
So the Senate has this tradition of unlimited debate. You can talk forever. To stop the debate and force a vote, that's called invoking cloture, you need a supermajority. Currently, that is 60 votes.
So even if you have a majority, say, 51 senators, you can't pass a bill if the other 49 decide to just keep debating it forever.
Exactly. Unless you can find 60 votes to shut them up, the bill just dies. This is why so much legislation passes the House and then vanishes into the Senate graveyard.
Because the House plays by majority rule.
Right, 50% plus 1. The Senate, effectively, has a 60-vote threshold for almost anything controversial.
But isn't that undemocratic? If the people voted for a majority, shouldn't they get their policies?
Well, that is the central tension. The counter-argument is that the Senate protects minority rights. It prevents 51% of the country from steamrolling the other 49%.
That forces consensus.
It forces consensus. You have to get some buy-in from the other side to reach 60 votes.
Or you just get gridlock.
Or you get gridlock. And then there are holds, and this is even pettier than the filibuster.
What's a hold?
A single senator can place a hold on a nominee or a bill. It's basically a secret veto.
And they use this as leverage, right? It's like hostage taking.
It's classic hostage taking. We see this all the time. A senator from a farm state will put a hold on a nominee for, say, ambassador to France.
Not because of the nominee?
No, not because the nominee is unqualified, but because the senator is angry at the administration about ethanol subsidies.
I won't let you have your diplomat until I get my corn money.
Precisely. And because of the Senate's rules, that one senator can win. That would never happen in the House. The Speaker would just roll right over them.
Now, we've talked about how they operate differently, but let's look at the division of labor. We know they both have to pass bills, but there are some scary scenarios where their unique powers come into play. The one that really caught my eye was the electoral deadlock.
Oh, this is the nightmare scenario. It's rare, but the mechanism is fascinating.
So imagine it's a presidential election year. The votes come in, and it's a tie in the Electoral College. Or a third party splits the votes and nobody gets to 270. What happens?
The election is thrown to Congress. But here's the twist. The House elects the president and the Senate elects the vice president.
Okay, but how does the House vote? It's not just all 435 members vote, is it?
No. And this is crucial. They vote by state delegation.
Wait, explain that.
It means all the representatives from California get together and cast one vote. All the representatives from Wyoming get one vote.
Oh, wow.
And if a state delegation is tied, say, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans, they effectively abstain.
So in this scenario, the tiny state of Wyoming has the exact same power to pick the president as California or Texas?
Yes. It is the most confusing, chaotic, and potentially controversial way to pick a leader imaginable. You need a majority of states, 26 states, to win.
And meanwhile, the Senate is picking the vice president.
Correct. And the Senate votes as individuals. 100 votes, 51 to win.
So, theoretically, if the House is controlled by Republicans and the Senate by Democrats,
You could end up with a Republican president and a Democratic vice president.
that sounds like a sitcom premise that would end in a constitutional crisis.
It would be incredibly unstable. But that's the mechanism the founders wrote. It just shows how much they wanted to balance these two bodies against each other.
Let's touch on one more division of labor that feels really heavy right now.
Mhm.
The courts. The House has nothing to do with judges, right?
0. This is the Senate's exclusive turf. The president nominates federal judges and Supreme Court justices, and the Senate provides advice and consent.
This feels like the Senate's long game superpower.
It is. A House member passes a budget that lasts for 1 year. A senator confirms a 40-year-old Supreme Court justice who will interpret the law for the next 30 or 40 years.
That is immense power.
Immense. It's why the Senate feels more prestigious to many. They are shaping the generational landscape of the law.
While the House is fighting over next year's highway funding.
Right.
So, bringing it all back to the start, the talking shop accusation. We have a House that runs on majoritarian adrenaline and a Senate that runs on consensus-forcing brakes.
Yeah.
When we look at the gridlock, is that a failure?
It depends on what you value. If you value efficiency, if you want the government to move fast and solve problems immediately, then yes, the U.S. Congress is a terrible design. It's a broken machine.
Right.
But if you value stability, if you value preventing a narrow majority from radically changing the country every 2 years, then the talking shop is a feature. The gridlock is the safety valve.
Because it forces them to talk until they find something, anything, that 60 senators and 218 representatives and 1 president can all agree on.
And that slice of overlap is usually pretty small. It's frustrating, it's ugly to watch. But the alternative, a system where 51% of the people can impose their will completely on the other 49% without any checks, that was exactly what the founders were trying to avoid.
They chose gridlock over tyranny.
They chose gridlock over tyranny.
It's a compelling way to look at it. Next time I'm screaming at the TV because they haven't passed a bill, I'll try to remember that the inaction is technically the brakes working.
The brakes are hot, they're screeching, but they are stopping the car from going off the cliff.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it. We've gone from the chaos of the House floor to the silent leverage of the Senate hold. It's a messy system, but it's ours.
It certainly is.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the machinery of Congress. We hope this helps you decode the noise next time you tune in to C-SPAN.
Absolutely.
Please like and subscribe.